Is it recording? I don't know, can't tell. Okay, yeah, it's apparently recording. So it only does one beat. One beat when it starts recording. I'm just getting this little well there in the wee abandoned house there. It's nice, it's picturesque. I like this wee farm. Yeah, I didn't grow up in a farm. I lived in a place called Kirkliston, which is just this little village off to the west of Edinburgh. But I got the opportunity to spend a decent amount of time on a farm for my family, and actually they were some of the more fun times to be a child, because I mean, you had all the open fields, you had all the freedom that a child should have, as opposed to hanging out with the estate in the estate with your fucking gangster friends, you know. Oh, there's a view. Who don't appreciate anything, by the way. Just another wee place that would make it for a good snapshot. I'm talking. You really miss the simple stuff. It's like it's meant to be quiet just now. Obviously, this place here hasn't entirely been turfed over to the future, so to speak, or whatever they see the future as being. Oh dear. Yeah, people forget. People are all very religious and they're arguing over semantics and all the rest of it. But people forget what the whole thing was trying to prevent. You know, it's just some political theatrics. I mean, you cannot see the enemy unless, you know, if he was sitting right inside your own fucking skin, which in most cases he is. I think I'm going to go back to my boat. I'm going to continue this walk. I'm going to go back to the boat and get the other 2 batteries. So I'll be fully charged by the time I get back. But oh my god, these batteries, they do not last long. Keep quiet. Some of the happiest times in my childhood were just walking about, seeing what there was. Some people would find that extremely boring. I never. There's my path there. Where does that go? Used to walk through the fields as a kid. Public footpath to somewhere. Surrey. Again, another vista where we have a picture. I'll just keep it in my head. Hey guys. Public footpath. 1/4 of a mile. Okay, we'll go this way. Ah, there it is. It's easy. I don't know where I'm walking. Just walk over the dark. I hate those wind farms. I hate them. You know, you secretly pray for like World War III, because you just know that that little bit of infrastructure would be the first thing that they take out. You know, the power stations and the wind farms. Viable war targets. Do you know what was quite shocking? Well, not shocking, but I don't know. Some of the video games. I like to talk about video games a lot, but I really do enjoy them. But some of the video games that they did. So I thought there's 2 different types of people that play video games. From what I've gathered, a lot of people. I mean, so games are there to present a challenge. And a challenge for players to overcome, and that's part of what makes a video game interesting. But some people, they chase the high score or the high numbers. I was like, well, is that the end game? Is that the end goal of your game? You just want to beat out the rest to show how well you've perfected the game? Because I could do that. You know, and obviously video game designers have cottoned on to this notion that they're always just wanting this maybe this power fantasy or something like that. So they make the game simple, and they have these flashy, bright points flash across the screen to make you think that you're making some progress, you know, in some direction. But the best games I played have got nothing. Like, there's no point scoring. There's no. They don't keep track of. Well, they do it in some sense, but it's not. I mean, you don't play it for that. So I'm thinking games like Armed Assault or Arma, I think they call it, Milsim games. But not even that. Just games like Dear Esther and DZ and like survival games, I suppose. But you know what featured most prominently in all these games was the atmosphere. Stalker was another one as well, and storytelling. You know, those are kind of what sold the experience for me. And there was a challenge to overcome. obviously. It wasn't all just storytelling. There was challenge in the gameplay, but and I'm not saying Armed Assault had the best story by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, when DayZ came out, the mod, it was very popular for a reason. It was brutally difficult, and it was interesting. It was an interesting experience with other players, you know, where it was a bit of like a no man's land or a fight for survival over like a 60 square kilometer map, you know. So if you can imagine, a lot of your time was actually just running through the bush or forests or learning how to orienteer. So I mean, you might be given a map but you don't have a compass, or you might have a map and a compass but no idea where you are. So a lot of people, they didn't actually know the map. So the first, like, you know, they knew some key locations that people would spawn in, and they would get to know the town names and stuff like that. And that was all part of the fun, you know. They would, the fun was in the learning of the game, and learning how to get good at it. So I mean, I spent a lot of time in the cities and the towns and stuff, just crawling around on my belly, not actually making any decent progress anywhere, because anytime you did make a sound or anytime a zombie saw you, it wasn't just one zombie that you attracted. It could have been the entire, like half a town or the entire town came sprinting after you, and it would put you in the back foot, and you would have to think, oh, what am I going to do? And you know, like just one swipe from a zombie could land you with an infected wound, and then that would kill you if it wasn't properly treated, and or they'd break a leg, and you're not going anywhere with a broken leg or a broken limb. So I mean, there was so many ways that you could die in that game. It was a very challenging game. So yeah, no, the guys that made the mod did it right, in a very, you know, in a sense where it was difficult, but a lot of the time you were playing quite passively. You know, you weren't guns akimbo or anything like that. You were you know, you were just salvaging what you could, trying to stay out of sight and out the way, and being very cautious with your decision making. And I thought that was interesting. That was a good, you know, you would spend a lot of time watching and observing other players and finding out what are they getting up to, what was their intent, and you might not immediately engage them, you know. I mean, even though you could, even though there's maybe even a temptation to do it, you might just be happy to just watch them, because especially if they haven't seen you, you know. And that was a bit of me. Sometimes people would scope out what other players had, you know, like if they had better gear or equipment, military gear and stuff like that. To be absolutely fair though, it did not matter one bit what you were decked out with in that game. It was, you know, you could have all of the best military equipment, but you could still be shot, like killed in one hit by someone that's just walking around with a Lee Enfield rifle from World War II. It didn't matter. It didn't matter one bit. So the whole point of the game was survival, not obtaining top tier loot. But for a lot of people, living long enough to obtain top tier loot was the biggest attractor of the game. Now, after you live for a reasonable amount of time, the challenge wore off a wee bit, and there was no sort of long-term goal, so to speak. So I could see how after a while people might get bored, but that, again, that just tells you something about the game, in that, or games in general. The most exciting and the most challenging aspect or part of the game was when you knew nothing, and it was when you just started, and it was when you started over, and that's what made it interesting. You know, that's, yeah, at some point you have to sort of move on a wee bit. A lot of people hold on to the memories of these games, like the best memories that they had when playing some of these games with their friends and stuff, and they were learning and stuff like that. But at some point there's nothing more to learn. You know, you completed it, it's done. That might be a depressing reflection on life, really. I don't know. It might be that some people have learned so much. You know, where'd you go? I am looking for you know, it's a little Petherick I think I want to go to. Yeah, so I just keep walking down here. Is there another path that I could take? Maybe I shouldn't have come this way, but I'm here now. Oh, some peace. Give us peace, eh? Give us peace, woman. Give us peace. You noisy fucking cars.